expecting a packed house in the Bluegrass on a perfect day in Lexington. Cats and Cards again in 2017. You're watching SEC Network Football presented by Allstate. You see the head coach of the 7-4 Louisville Cardinals, Bobby Petrino. And here's Mark Stoops, head coach of the 7-4 Kentucky Wildcats in what's called the Governor's Cup. This is the 30th edition. With the 2004 College Football Hall of Famer Andre Ware, I'm Taylor Zarzer, and I just simply bought a Hall of Fame jacket. The 1989 Heisman Trophy winner, too. Lamar Jackson won it last year. He's the quarterback for Louisville. There are many out there, Andre, that believe he's a better quarterback this year, self-included.
Yeah, I think he's a better overall quarterback on a team that's maybe not quite as talented as they were a year ago. And it's in, statistically, where it matters most. Quarterback rating, it's up. Completion percentage up by 4%. And then you see the passing yards per game. He still frightens defensive coordinators that walk the sidelines of the other side of the field.
And he's going to get the football first. Olivia Harlan will join us here in just a moment as the Kentucky Wildcats won the toss and deferred. The Louisville Cardinals will receive. Again, 30th edition of the Governor's Cup. Kentucky won it last year on the Austin McGinnis late field goal, ending a 5-game winning streak by Louisville. Howard Schnellenberger, who coached at Louisville and was a Hall of Fame player at Kentucky, will give out the Louisville Slugger bat to the winner. Lamar Jackson, the 2016 Heisman winner, makes his 32nd start, his 26th straight. This guy is a video game. He became the first player in NCAA history to pass for over 3,000 and rush for over 1,000 in consecutive seasons. The junior from Pompano Beach, Florida, on the field again for the Cards today.
I swear, when you turn the video on and you're watching this guy in preparation for a game, it looks like he's in fast forward and everybody else is in slow motion. I mean, it's just pretty to watch this guy play.
On the first play, he overshoots his intended target, Jalen Smith, but a flag comes in.
Corner. Pass interference. Defense, number 6. First down.
Really unnecessary because of the throw from Lamar Jackson. You see the tug on the jersey. Lonnie Johnson getting there a little bit early. That's going to be a matchup that we can keep our eyes on. The big 6'5" Jalen Smith against 6'3" Lonnie Johnson.
Johnson just got the starting nod in the last month of the season, the junior from Gary, Indiana. So Louisville's out to the 32-yard line. Jackson underneath, a high throw. Nice catch by Dawkins into Kentucky territory for 21 yards. Let's take a look at the Louisville starting lineup today. You know about Lamar Jackson, but what about one of the guys next to him, Andre, who's played basically every skill position?
Yeah, a guy that's the quarterback's best friend, Reggie Bonnafon, the running back. He'll play running back, wide receiver, return punch kicks. He is a do-it-all type player that you just got to get the ball into his hands.
Actually started over Lamar Jackson a few years ago. A fake to Malik Williams, and Jackson takes off into Kentucky territory inside the 45, where Courtney Love makes the tackle. Let's look at Love's teammates, the Kentucky starting defense today.
Yeah, and I think in this one, Josh Allen's going to have to show up. Been quiet the last couple of weeks, 7 sacks on the season. That's 6th best in the SEC. But you're talking about leverage from outside in, not allowing Lamar Jackson to get leverage, get outside the defense. Josh Allen's going to have to help in that regard today.
Lamar picked up 8 at 2nd and 7. Jackson stands tall, incredible protection, and delivers the ball to Jalen Smith just shy of a first down for 11 yards.
Taylor, you think the best way to defend Lamar Jackson is to keep him in the pocket? Well, we just talked about at the top of the show his completion percentage up by 4%, where he's become a better passer from the pocket. And if you don't rush and get there and force him to move or force him to get the ball out of his hands, he's more than capable of picking you apart.
That's where everyone says he's made so much progress in 2017, including his head coach, Bobby Petrino. Play clock down to 5 on the 3rd and 1. Handoff in the backfield, and shy of the first down marker is Malik Williams.
Yeah, along with Courtney Love, that gets there as well. And a great work ethic and attitude. He's improved greatly over the last few years, but watch the penetration by Kentucky. They're trying to run outside zone here, and they're able to split the offensive line and get in the backfield and force Louisville to go for it here on 4th down.
They are 14 of 25 this season on 4th down, kind of in no man's land. Day Williams is behind Petrino.
Yeah, I'm going to let Lamar Jackson handle the ball here.
And that's what they do. And he delivers a first down throw inside the 30, inside the 25 to the tight end, Charles Stanberry.
Yeah, you don't take the ball out of your best player's hands, and that's the guy right there wearing number 8. You give him a run-pass option where you can put pressure on the edges of the defense, and they forget about the tight ends, Charles Stanberry, leaking out into the flat, basically wide open.
14 yards and a first down. Stanberry's caught a pass in 13 straight games. From the 24, straight ahead, this is Bonnafon inside the 20 to the 18.
Big, strong back at 6'3", 212. He's going to be attractive to a lot of teams on the next level because he can do so much. He can play special teams as a returner, as a cover guy. He can play running back. You can line him up at wide receiver. Versatile player that'll save you a couple of roster spots.
Bonnafon makes it 2nd and 4. Now the first down run and the touchdown. Reggie Bonnafon, 18 yards, and the Cards are on the board first.
I'll tell you what, a great couple of blocks by McNeil, the right guard, and Becton, the right tackle, and opened up a hole along the right side that basically needed its own zip code. It was so big.
Lamar Jackson 3 for 3, 46 yards, found 3 different receivers. And then Bonnafon 2 carries and 24 yards, and Blanton Creaky's extra point is good.
Couple of good blocks here and here on the right side, and watch these two just go to work, crashing everything down inside. Now it's one-on-one with Bonnafon and the 2nd, 3rd levels of the defense. Louisville up 7-0.
Reggie Bonnafon has 6 rushing touchdowns on the season, also a receiving touchdown. He was the quarterback in his freshman season and threw 7 touchdown passes. You can't forget about him while you're paying attention to number 8. Number 7 is in the end zone. Louisville with the early 7-0 lead in the Governor's Cup as Kentucky prepares to get the football for the first time. Blanton Creaky kicks it deep to Lynn Bowden.
Yeah, Louisville lost a lot of players from last year's team. They've still got weapons around Lamar Jackson.
Bowden off the bounce at the 5. And he returns it near the 25-yard line. Say hello to Olivia Harlan.
Well, thanks, Taylor. Benny Snell is hitting his stride at the end of the season, and Louisville defensive coordinator Peter Sermon said that's what makes him so scary. You know, towards the end of the season, a lot of backs taper off in production with some bumps and bruises, but that he's as good a tailback as they've faced all year. Benny's tallied 10 of his 16 rushing touchdowns just in the last month, and Benny told me before the game during warm-ups that he feels as strong as he has all season.
It's a credit to his training, to the offensive, for the off-season training, so to speak, and then continuing to do it throughout the year.
Johnson had a 75-yard touchdown on the first offensive play last year, and he might get a pass interference call here. We'll see.
Goodness.
No flag comes out as he tries to find juice for about 25 yards. That was Zach Cannon in coverage.
If that's not pass interference, then they should stop throwing the flag. Zach Cannon didn't turn around, threw his hands up at the end of this, clearly beaten by Juice Johnson on the outside. Watch the end. Just run into the receiver, throw your hands up. You got face guarding. You got everything there. If I had a yellow flag, I'd throw it from up here.
Kevin Maloney, our stats positions, had one all season.
He's got one.
He's
He's ready.
One
Let me
you.
borrow that thing. I don't know if I can get it down to the field, though, in time. That is absolutely amazing. Just let them play from this point on. If you're not going to call that, just let them play. And I know Mark Stoops, he's going at it because Lonnie Johnson had one thrown. We saw the tug of the jersey, but that was way worse than what we saw in the first play of the game.
So 2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. And it's the bandit, Benny Snell, ahead to the 31. As Olivia told you, this guy has gone off in the last 4 games. He's the all-time Kentucky leader with 29 rushing touchdowns, over 1,000 yards rushing in both seasons he's been in Lexington.
Yeah, when you're on defense this time of the year, you're kind of catching, hoping that other guys show up. You don't want to really engage a guy like Benny Snell, and he just wears on you. It's better as the game progresses.
Now 3rd and 4. You see the Cats 59th in the country. And that ball thrown into coverage, and it's almost picked off. For a second, it looked like Jair Alexander was going to have the pick as Blake Bone was the intended target.
Yeah, I tell you what, you need a credit. Go back and Stephen Johnson thank Blake Bone for turning defensive back in that instance, because one of the best in the country. He's been injured this year, but Jair Alexander, one of the best at corner. They missed him. He was out with a knee injury, hurt his knee in the first game. The opener was really not the same. Tried to return about mid-season, and they just got him back a couple of weeks ago.
Matt Kent, Australian-style punter, floats one, and a fair catch is called for at the 31-yard line by Bonnafon. 38-yard punt. Lamar Jackson coming back onto the field in Lexington, Kentucky. We know that Florida's coach will not be Chip Kelly. ESPN reporting today that UCLA and Chip Kelly have agreed to terms, so Florida's still searching for a permanent head coach.
Totally makes sense. Chip is certainly familiar with the Pac-12. UCLA, a lot of people feel like, is a sleeping giant. He'll be able to recruit there. He's got all the resources he needs to get it going.
Lamar keeps it on the fake to Malik Williams, gets up to the 37-yard line. We told you in the open about Lamar Jackson, his incredible numbers. Nobody's ever done this before. What you're going to see on the bottom of the screen there, ever in the history of college football. Now, he needs 78 yards to pass Antoine Randall for 7th in NCAA history for rushing yards coming into today's game by a quarterback. He is putting up the kind of numbers that may never be surpassed in college football history as he throws the first down pass to the 46-yard line to Jalen Smith. Down to Olivia.
Taylor, you talked about his improvements this year as well, and Coach Petrino told us he understands defenses more. He goes through his progressions and he gets his feet set in the right way and can throw accurately, of course. But from a defensive standpoint and scouting him, Mark Stoops says when he sees you coming clean, he feels that. He moves and is gone. Unbelievably dangerous in the pocket.
Yeah, he proved it. That ability to scan a defense the last play.
And look at this. Inside the 45, making people miss, down to the 39 for 15 more.
Yeah, it's just as I described earlier. He looks like he is in fast forward when everybody else is playing in slow motion. I don't know of a player that can give it and take it away like Lamar Jackson. Right here, watch that move. You think you have him wrapped up, and then all of a sudden he has slipped by you and he's gone.
You just can't coach that. Wide open receivers everywhere, and inside the 30 finds Smith again. Lamar Jackson having this incredible 3-year career. It began on this field really, and for all intent and purposes, 2 seasons ago. His team trailed 21-0. He came in and helped them win the game 66-31, and then you saw his coming out party in the Music City Bowl.
Yeah, I saw him against the first overall pick in the draft, Myles Garrett, and made him look ordinary. Both he and Deshaun Hall on the other side, to the tune of about 500 yards of total offense. And I couldn't believe what I was watching then. Well, the next year he just went on and won the Heisman Trophy with a sensational season. And as we talked about from the top, having somewhat of a better statistical year this season than he did last year. And you see that game that I was a part of, 2 touchdown passes. 226 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, he was magical.
On a 2nd and 8, again, it's Smith wide open near the 10 for 16 more.
With the exception, Taylor, of the bootleg on 4th down, which you certainly understand why Bobby Petrino called it. Most of Lamar Jackson's damage here, simple out route with a 9 on top of it to clear out the corner, but most of it's coming from the pocket. And it's a display that you wonder, okay, what's he going to do on the next level? Well, I think he's proven to scouts right now that he can throw from the pocket, and you certainly can't find that athletic ability when things break down.
Helps when his receivers are wide open all over the field. He'll keep it himself inside the 5 and fight to get to the 1.
Bobby Petrino talked about his offseason training.
And look at this. Look at this.
No, Lamar. That's the wrong guy. A little bit of a late hit out of bounds. He got frustrated, and he's going after Jordan Jones, who will welcome any type of extracurricular like that. We may be lucky that if both these 2 players stay in the game.
This is not the first time it's gotten chippy in this rivalry. That's been played every year since 1994. They stopped playing it for 70 years and brought it back some 23 years ago, and we've seen examples of this through the years. Lonnie Johnson and Lamar Jackson talking to each other, and then you see the shove.
And see, and Jordan Jones comes over, he's standing over him, and he bumps into Lamar. Well, of course, you don't shove him. That's the wrong guy to shove. And here you get Malik Williams involved and a bunch of teammates. And tell you what, on the wrestle to the ground, he's taken down, but you end up on top.
They're rolling on the field after the play. They're on sportsmanlike conduct fouls on both teams. On Louisville, number 8, number 29. On Kentucky, number 34 and number 6. Those penalties will offset. It will be 2nd down.
So Jordan Jones and Lonnie Johnson for Kentucky.
Yeah, and now you got to cool. Jordan Jones has not cooled down. I can guarantee you Lamar Jackson has, because he's a quarterback and he's got to play that way. But you're playing with a lot of emotion as a defensive player, and you just hope that Jordan Jones does not pick up his 2nd unsportsmanlike conduct penalty in this ball game and wind up getting himself tossed.
Little, the fullback, Day Williams, the tailback behind Jackson from inside the 2. Day Williams, touchdown.
One nice block by 79, Kenny Thomas, the left guard. I think he was the young man that actually had the false start penalty. And he just opened up a nice hole along that left side.
A true freshman that tore his ACL in the spring. Day Williams comes back this quickly, made his debut against the Florida State Seminoles, and is turned into one of Louisville's best tailbacks. Creaky's extra point makes it 14-0. Rivalry weekend means sometimes there's a little pushing and shoving after the play. That's the case here in the Governor's Cup. Cards on top by 14. Kentucky Wildcats honoring 25 seniors today. Mark Stoops says they are responsible for the turnaround, especially that man, Steven Johnson.
Yes. Yep.
14-8 is Kentucky's record in games he plays in. The unquestioned leader of the Kentucky Wildcats, who trail 14-0. He better get to work.
Yeah, he has really earned the respect of both his teammates and the coaches. They totally believe in him, and this is a long way from the finish line.
Bowden from the 15-yard line to the 20. This is Benny Snell, and he's free off the left side. In Louisville territory, cuts it back inside the 40. 41 yards for the Bandit.
What a special player. At the end of the season, going to get a double team inside by the left guard and left tackle. And then Benny Snell does the rest of this. Speed, you underestimate his speed for a player his size at about 225 pounds, running the ball this late in the year the way he is.
Only a sophomore, and already arguably the best in school history. Johnson pumps, rolls out, and ends up throwing it away.
Not sure, but he had a player. He couldn't look backside, but Blake Bone was down the middle of the field, essentially wide open. And if he could have just had a moment to set his feet and go backside, he was behind the safety right in the middle of the field running wide open. Had a stack look on both sides. Now it's on the quarterback to decide where's the least amount of coverage, and then you pick a side.
Benny up the gut for a couple. It'll be 3rd down and about 8 from the 37-yard line.
Yeah, after that incompletion on 1st down, Eddie Gran, the offensive coordinator, trying to get Kentucky back on schedule. So you do that with a run. You give the look of a quick hitch to the outside on both sides, and then try to spread Louisville out defensively and come inside. A little easier blocking angles for Benny Snell, but Louisville holding up.
Eddie's had 31 years in coaching all over the Southeastern Conference. SJ rolls out, will tuck it and run. 1st down inside the 20 and near the 10-yard line.
No, I wanted to see him put that right foot in the ground and cut back inside.
Zach Cannon pushed him out after a 25-yard run.
Well, watch the tail end of this. He's outside the pocket. There's nothing in front of him, but then there's an opportunity right about there to turn inside and engage a defender and maybe cut across his face and get in the end zone.
8 rushes for 83 yards in this game last year. Best game of his career in that win over the Cardinals. Snell inside the 10. Look at him work. Inside the 5 to the 4.
How about the block at the tail end by Steven Johnson, coming in, knocking one of the Louisville players off the pile. Keep an eye on 15. Do a nice job here, but watch him come in at the tail end of this and assist. Right there. Get off my guy. I like that from a quarterback.
Louisville defensive coordinator Peter Sermon said 26, talking about Benny Snell. Runs with as much power at this point in the season as anyone will face in all of college football.
Runs hard, he's physical.
Never turns down contact. It's 2nd and 2, and in the Wildcat, he tries to bounce it out to the right side, spins around, and has the 1st down.
Gotta watch it if you're Logan Steinberg, coming in late, getting talked to right in the middle by one of the officials. He's trying to clean up the pile, but just about a split second late in doing so. So you want to avoid a late hit or something of that sort at the end of it.
Now remember, C.J. Conrad broke his foot, the great tight end for Kentucky, who's a terrific blocker. So Greg Hart and Justin Rigg, the other 2 healthy tight ends, are both on the field for this 1st and goal play. Snell straight ahead, power running, extra effort, still on his feet.
Wow.
He just ran over DeAsian Richardson and D. Smith to tie Mo Williams with 17 rushing touchdowns in a single season.
I want you to watch when we come back to the replay here. At some point, Louisville gets tremendous penetration, stops him almost in the backfield, but then it's the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th effort of Benny Snell. This is a great responding drive by the Kentucky Wildcats. They needed points. Penetration here on the part of Louisville. They get excellent penetration. 1, 2, 3. Then the 4th effort by Benny Snell to get in the end zone, bringing Kentucky within 7 points of Louisville.
Benny Snell, 6 carries, 61 yards. everyone in the stadium knows the ball will be in his hands around the goal line, yet he still finds a way to power himself into the end zone, plays with a massive chip on his shoulder. The sophomore from Westerville, Ohio, still can't get over that he was a 3-star in high school and lets everybody that didn't recruit him pay for it.
He kind of cut into his average. He was up over 11 yards a carry, and then he had to carry inside the 5. Took it down to about 10.2 yards per carry today. Some great football being played by number 26, Benny Snell.
Bonnafon already with a touchdown, and he's free again in Kentucky territory.
Boy, is he a good-looking player or what? Mention the size at 6'3", 212. Can do a lot of things for you. Excellent receiver out of the backfield. They invite the defensive end up the field, kick him out, and then Bonnafon cuts it all the way back for a huge gain. Now, Lamar Jackson, Taylor, is just about perfect. 6 of 6 through the air for 82 yards. He's got 5 rushes for 43 yards, 125 yards of total offense already.
Bonnafon had 17 yards rushing, and he's at the top of the screen, and Lamar Jackson goes to him wide open near the 20-yard line.
How about that for sitting in the pocket, surveying the field, and then finding your running back out on the outside. They lose him. He gets close to the sideline. Joshua Pascal, the end of that side, didn't bounce far enough out in their defensive look. And then Bonnafon comes wide open, but sitting in the pocket, surveying the field. It's been easy work so far from Lamar Jackson without any pressure for Kentucky's defensive line.
Incredible numbers. 27-yard catch by Bonnafon there. Middle of the field is open on the post, literally, and it's dropped by Jalen Smith.
When you're Lamar Smith, it's like, hey, hang on to that one. I'm perfect for the day. And it's a dime. This is a dime thrown right there that should have been 6 points by Smith, and he puts it on the turf.
Heard the footsteps of the post there. Chris Westry was there in coverage, but Smith had every chance to catch that. The Williams boys in the backfield. This goes to Malik, no, a fake, and Lamar is tackled in the backfield for a loss back at the 24-yard line by Josh Paschal.
Let's go back and take a look at that drop by Jalen Smith, the tail end of it, after he misses. Goes back, and then I missed one. This is usually camp stuff, but hey, I got to knock out a couple of push-ups.
Respect.
No doubt.
Junior from Pascagoula, Mississippi. 3rd and 12. Lamar takes it himself and only gets a couple. It'll be 4th down as Josh Allen and Phil Hoskins come in there to make the tackle.
Try to keep this to or get it to a 2-score game if you're Louisville, so they'll trot out your field goal kicker here.
Blanton Creekey's one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
28 of 33 in his 2-year career.
He's named to the Lou Groza finalist, a Lou Groza finalist.
Beat Florida State at the gun. This from 38 yards, right through the heart. Again, some pushing and shoving at the line of scrimmage. A short kick that bounces, better be fielded, and it is at the 24-yard line. And that was Charles Walker, fortunately for Kentucky, that caught it out of the air. From the 25, Snell past the 30, and another first down run for Benny.
At some point, defensively, it becomes a task of even wanting to engage a guy that runs so angry in Benny Snell.
73 yards for Benny, 12 on the latest carry at the end of the first quarter. A lot of passion and pageantry in the Commonwealth of Kentucky today, and even some pushing and shoving too. Louisville up 10 at the end of one. Cardinals up 10 at the end of one. Kentucky's all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards is Craig Yeast. He says, quote, I bleed blue throughout. But his son, Russ, is a true freshman defensive back for the Louisville Cardinals. And today, the greatest receiver in Kentucky history is wearing a Louisville Cardinals jacket and hat. He said, quote, "I love my son way more."
No doubt, and rightfully so, but a great career he had at Kentucky.
Snell bounces it outside inside the 40.
Wow, nothing, and I mean nothing there inside. Designed to go just inside the tackle. Watch the patience of Benny Snell. Sniffing it out, can't wait for that block to show up. It's taking a little bit too long. I'm going to take matters into my own hands and pick up a first down.
He runs like a pro, 12 yards there.
Earlier, I thought the exact same thing when he had the touchdown run. It's, there are tough yards to get in the NFL, and you want a guy like Benny Snell that can break tackles and do it by himself.
10 carries for 92 yards. Still fighting.
Unreal.
To the 21-yard line.
Let me tell you something, Taylor. You got to be in some pretty good shape to run over and over and over. And the one thing that frustrates me with today's college football players or young players, they're tapping their helmets at this point in the game, asking for a way out. Benny Snell has not once looked over and asked Eddie Grand for a blow. Matter of fact, he wants the ball even more, and that's a credit to the tremendous shape that he's in.
Shared time last year with Boone Williams, who left the program early. And this year it's basically all Snell inside the 20 to the 18. Now sci-fi, Saheem King will come in to spell Snell from time to time, but as you said, they've exclusively gone to him so far in this game.
Now's the time. Oh, see, he wants to rock. Sending Kyle Meadows in, maybe an extra offensive lineman here in a short yardage situation. They're going to stay, it looks like, with a Wildcat. Benny Snell operating.
11th play of the drive. A 3rd and 2 from the 18-yard line. Snell patient again. First down inside the 15. First and goal inside the 10. Quickly down to Olivia.
Yeah, guys, when I talked to offensive coordinator Eddie Grand before the game, he said it truly is incredible the way he's still able to pile through like that. And when I told Benny what defensive coordinator for Louisville, Peter Sermon, said about him, he said, yeah, I've been pretty lucky. I've been really healthy both my freshman and sophomore campaign, and he knows that that's rare.
Talked to a couple of scouts before the game, and we're here to watch some senior players and maybe some juniors that'll come out, but they have got to be drooling at what they're seeing from Benny Snell.
Just a clinic. This time he stopped in the backfield for a loss of 1 as Drew Bailey comes up to make the tackle. This is Saheem King to Steven Johnson's left on a 2nd and goal from the 8.
He's a quicker, faster back than Snell, who brings the power. He's the lightning aspect of Thunder and Lightning.
And Johnson keeps it himself.
Yeah.
Poor choice, as John Grenard was right there.
You know what? And Grenard learned from the last play. They saw it going to the right, which we just talked about. Grenard played it perfectly, realizing the mistake he made the play before on the other side.
Guess who's back in the game?
Benny Snell.
3rd and goal from the 14-yard line.
They're trying to, with a 3-wide set, trying to widen this Kentucky look out, where they'll have an easy running lane for Snell.
14th play of the drive on the slant, incomplete to Bone. It'll be 4th down.
Well, it's no harm, no foul. You just got to get Austin McGinnis to knock one through for you to get this back to a 1-score game. And it's essential that he makes this, because you don't want to turn the momentum you've gained on this drive into momentum with a missed field goal for Louisville.
It's a 32-yarder. He kicked the game winner from 47 yards against the Cardinals last year. Oh, and he hits the right upright. No good. A rare miss for the best kicker in Kentucky school history. He had made 11 in a row before that kick. So a 15-play drive results in no points for the Cats. Down 10.
Just gotten better for Louisville. The last 5 games, they've averaged 7.7 yards per play.
That was a look downfield, fake to Day Williams, play action, and then Lamar Jackson takes off for 7 yards. Studio update and Peter Burns.
Interesting developments in Ann Arbor. John O'Corn finds Sean McKeon for a touchdown pass. Wolverines up 14-0 on Ohio State. Interesting for the Big Ten's playoff chances.
Uh-oh.
That outside the footprint we go.
And to finish the thought today, said they were averaging 7.7 the last 5 games. Today, over 9, about just under 9.5 yards per play for Louisville.
Straight ahead, and it's Day Williams into the clear, into Kentucky territory. Big run for the redshirt freshman for 44 yards.
Yeah, some pretty good blocks up front. The true freshman, watch the right tackle get a nice block, and the tight end along with him. They seal it down. That opens some things up inside. The right guard, McNeil, along with it. And Day Williams is having some afternoon. Already a touchdown run, and add that to a pretty good first half.
Fake to Williams. Lamar keeps it inside the 20, stays on his feet. And just outside the 10-yard line as he beats Denzel Ware for 19 yards.
Yeah, the training in the offseason. He got stronger this offseason. It's allowed him, and it's helped him to break more tackles this season, according to Bobby Petrino, their head coach and play caller. You see him in a lot of situations where, you know, he's tangled up, but then he comes out of it an arm tackle. He's just a special athlete that just continues to get better.
And as you're seeing in front of us now, Kentucky not scoring any points on that last drive is already a big deal in this game, because the Cardinals have points on each of their 3 possessions, and they're 11 yards away from doing it again. Bonnafon on the pitch. Near the end zone, touchdown.
What a fake inside on the option. You see the end of it to make sure he was in. No doubt about it, it's a touchdown, but I went with the fake inside. It was such a magnificent fake by Lamar Jackson. I followed the running back, or the first initial, which would be the fullback in an option play. Then he pulls it out of there and puts pressure on the end man, which Bonnafon essentially almost walks into the end zone untouched.
24-7 Cardinals. Can you make that Lee Corso sound? Right down the field the Cards go in 4 plays, 80 yards in 1 minute 45 seconds. The big run by Day Williams, and then it's Bonnafon again in the end zone. As Lynn Bowden takes it from the 10. And he's tackled at the 24. Great pressure, and it's almost picked off.
You couldn't ask for an early Christmas present for Big DeAsian Richardson. I mean, right between the 9 and the 0. Guy is showing some athletic ability. Wasn't as clean as I thought it was. It was behind him and almost made a heck of a play on the ball.
Senior from Jacksonville, Florida, dejected, thought he had daylight in front of him. So now 2nd and a mile. Johnson steps up and overthrows his intended receiver, Juice Johnson.
Well, and he really needed that one. Did a nice job of stepping up into the pocket, but then sails it high for the 5'11" Juice Johnson. That one would have gotten them to third and very, very manageable and almost 4-down territory. But now, with that incompletion, it's almost pick it up or get very close to the first down before you even start to think about it. You're going to have to punt the football away here if you don't come up with something big on third down. Maybe a penalty bails you out as well.
Kentucky has to get to Louisville's 38-yard line. Into traffic, almost picked off. Just looking for Juice Johnson, but that's Chucky Williams down there, one of Louisville's best defensive backs. Who started 38 straight games and almost had another interception.
Well, that's where you would love to know. Based on the pre-snap read, you're going to get just 4 men rushing. So you're going to hold up and maybe a double move where you pump the seam route and go outside to Taven Richardson, number 11, who basically came free after that ball was thrown inside.
Bonnafon already with 2 touchdowns today, waits on Panton's punt, and this is returnable at the 25, and he'll lose a few yards there as Pascal makes the tackle. 1:55 left, plenty of time for Lamar Jackson. Kentucky's going to have to throw it in the second half to be effective, and they're going to have to force a turnover from this man, and he has no interest in doing that. As Travion Samuel has a first down, he's still inbounds near midfield.
Samuel, not a big player at 5'7", 170, just 20th catch on the season.
21 yards. For the man near the Alabama-Georgia border. That's Auburn territory, Phoenix City, Alabama. Big one coming up at 3:30 today in the Iron Bowl.
Lamar trying to tack on yet another score here before the half.
He's got time. He gets hit hard, though, as he holds on to the football. And that was Quentin Bohanna. Big Bo, as they call him, the freshman from Cordova, Tennessee, that came in there.
Yeah, they needed an interior lineman to really step up this year, and the true freshman Bohanna has really played well. Playing hurt today, not 100%, but just getting to Lamar Jackson to disrupt things on that play.
You're right, he hurt his ankle last week in the win against Georgia. Came out of the game for a while. But only a freshman in his past 2 defensive tackles this year into the starting lineup. Big hole again for Williams, and he's into Kentucky territory for 9. He had a career high 180 yards rushing last week in the win against Syracuse.
And here he comes again. Good interior pass rusher who they really thought that when you're going to cage rush Lamar Jackson, he's got to be a part of it and get pushed from the inside.
3rd and 1. Lamar will do it himself. First down to the 43. Ware on the tackle.
And no rush here. There's no hurry for Bobby Petrino and Lamar Jackson with 3 timeouts. They can operate smoothly. Chains are going to move. The clock continues to tick.
Surveys the middle of the field and hits Smith on the slant inside the 30 for 14 more.
He doesn't throw passes. He's shooting lasers around the field. I mean, that ball jumps out of his hand a lot like it did with Michael Vick, where it's just a flick of the wrist and the ball's on you as a receiver in a hurry.
Wants to throw the home run ball, and it is caught. That's a 29-yard touchdown for Dez Fitzpatrick. And a dime from Lamar Jackson.
Bobby Petrino told me in pregame warm-up when we were down on the field talking to him that Lamar Jackson has gotten a lot more comfortable throwing fade routes this year. It was something he worked on during the offseason with all these big receivers that they have on this team. It was essential that he got better at that part of his game, and I think right there he proved that he's put in the work and he's a lot better in doing it.
He has 245 yards of total offense in the first half. He has 10 of 12 passing, and that was the best one of the day. It is 31-7 with 39 seconds remaining in the first half.
Watch the eyes and the work of Lamar Jackson against zone coverage, holding Darius West inside, taking him to his right, and not allowing him to get back into the play to the throw of Dez Fitzpatrick. Look,
you understand that they're 7-4 this year. They've been out of the national spotlight as opposed to last season when they spent so many weeks in the top 25 as King is past the 20 up to the 24. Yet Johnson, catch made by K1 Ross up near the 43-yard line with 22 seconds left in the half. Kentucky does have 2 timeouts left. Coming up at halftime, you can watch the live performance of the Wildcat Marching Band on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. Kentucky does not use one of those 2 timeouts yet. Across the middle of the field, nice catch made there by Walker.
Gotta take
and
one.
Walker's in to McGinnis territory with a 19-yard catch.
Got to take one now.
McGinnis, his career long is 54 yards, so there's only a yard or 2 to really give him a chance. And to the sideline, Ross makes the catch down to the 28-yard line with 6 seconds left.
Because he didn't get out of bounds, they may have to spin this timeout. Their final timeout. Yeah, he could have. He actually turned. I guess he made it back to the sideline, but he could have gotten himself out a lot earlier.
McGinnis' streak of making 11 consecutive field goals ended when he missed a 32-yarder at the end of a 15-play drive. This from 45. At least something
Nice
to gain on going into the half. And Kentucky will get the football first. Louisville leads 31-10 at halftime. In just a moment, Peter Burns, Chris Doring, and Gene Chizik have all of your halftime scores in our SEC Network studios.
Thanks, guys. Coach, I know you want to be balanced on offense, and your passing game got dialed up and more efficient there on that last drive. How can you keep that going in the second half?
Yeah, we're going to have to. We really we got to get some stops defensively. We're not getting any stops. But the long drive that we had and missed the field goal, that hurt. And then we had a chance right there to, we had it inside the 50 going in with about a minute, two minutes to go in the half, and went 3 and out with no time off the clock. That possession really hurt us. Fortunately, we came back and got 3 there.
Like you said, you need to get some stops, but how can you slow down Lamar Jackson?
He's tough to slow down. We got to be better in the open field. We're not tackling very good in the open field. They're making some explosive plays. He's throwing it very well also.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Louisville scores on every single possession in the first half, and they lead 31-10. Andre, I would say that Lamar Jackson is playing like the 2016 Heisman Trophy winner, but he surpassed what he's doing last season.
Yeah, he's been just shy of perfect in this ball game, both throwing and running. He was magical in the first half, making a lot of plays for Louisville's offense. A magical first half for Louisville offense, just about perfect. Every drive in the first half, they found points.
Lamar Jackson with 245 all-purpose yards in the first half. Landon Creaky kicks it to Kentucky to get a field goal at the end of the first half. And this is Bowden from the 1 past the 25. Let's go down to Olivia.
Guys, the Louisville offense has scored on every possession, and I don't care which team you're playing for or rooting for, you're probably drooling over Lamar Jackson. 10 for 12 and 10 carries himself. I just caught up with Bobby Petrino, and he said the line of scrimmage is really helping us out, and Lamar distributing the ball in the pass and run game. I asked him about the chippiness as a factor, and he said, we just got to stick to football. We can't get too passionate here in an away game. But guys, 2 UK receivers are questionable to return in this half. That's Blake Bone. He has a leg injury. You'll see him warming up. And Lynn Bowden, that freshman receiver, also return man.
Johnson ahead to Snell, and Benny who had 16 carries for 118 yards in the first half, gets a few more.
Yeah, just to Olivia's point, I thought the offensive line play for Louisville has been just about flawless. Christian, the left tackle, Becton, the right tackle, the true freshman, they have given Lamar Jackson time to operate in the pocket, and he's been just about surgical.
Deep ball, Taven Richardson one-on-one, incomplete. Down there was Tremaine Washington to break it up.
Yeah, he has been solid in coverage all year, and the production is certainly there. 4 interceptions on the year for Tremaine Washington. Perfect coverage there on Richardson, the sophomore.
You see a little desperation in that decision from Johnson. Down 3 touchdowns. Kentucky's defense hasn't stopped Lamar Jackson today. Now it's 3rd and 13. Johnson buying extra time, but eventually goes down. It's sacked by Trayvon Young.
Yeah, Trayvon Young is now 3.5 sacks on the season, but watch the coverage here. It's just simple zone coverage with nobody to go to. Maybe here if you're in rhythm, but everybody else covered up on the back end. Where to go with the football.
Young with his 13th career sack forces another Matt Panton punt. Bonnafon can return this one. A flag is down, and he's tackled for another loss. And throws behind his receiver, Kamari Averett, this time, and here comes a flag.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Late hit on Jordan Jones, and if he doesn't watch it, he's going to get tossed from this game.
Well, he already has one unsportsmanlike conduct penalty in the game.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 34, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And it really wasn't so much the tackle, it's the standing over the receiver afterwards, right here. And then you're going to stand over and tell him about it. Walking slowly to him. I mean, he could have got him for a hit on a defenseless player, but they ignored that one. It was the walk towards Everett, the tight end. Just erase everything that just happened and do it again.
It's a handoff, and Bonafon's leg still churning, but whistled down at the 29. Do have a helmet that came off on the play. Courtney Loves.
I thought he actually, I don't think it actually came off. I think he took it off, and they assumed that it came off. It was up around, close to coming off, and he went ahead and removed it, which now you're going to have to sit out a play. So you're without Courtney Love as well as Jordan Jones.
Cash Daniel takes his spot. Jackson will take off and get down to the 21-yard line.
The sweetest feet I think I've ever witnessed.
Well, he passed Antoine Randall L. for 7th in NCAA history for rushing yards by a quarterback with this last one.
Watch the footwork. Boom, boom. Change of direction. Again. Man, that is sick. To be able to maneuver 6'3", just under around 215 pounds, and that quickness, change of direction. Man, that's just being blessed. Blessed with athletic ability.
Head to the 20-yard line for Day Williams, and we have an injured Louisville offensive lineman.
There's a player down for the Cardinals.
See the current drive. Cardinals have taken advantage of 3 Kentucky personal fouls. Jackson under pressure, and down he goes. It'll be 3rd down to Olivia.
Taylor safety Darius West is on the sideline. Trainers were having him turn his head left and right and watching his eye movement with their moving fingers. So that's concussion protocol. Athletic trainers are saying he got hit under his chin, kind of moving his head backwards, very uncomfortable. He's shaking it out.
Bonnafon on a 3rd and 8 between the tackles is stopped at the 18-yard line by Ware. A curious play call there on a 3rd and 8 play. Sets up 4th down.
Not trying to force the issue. He knew he had points in his back pocket, one of the better kickers around the country. So they're going to spin the dial here to try to knock down a 35-yard kick.
Creaky 1 for 1 today. This from 35 yards. And it's through. So the Cards are up 34-10. Kentucky must get started on offense to get back into this one. Down 24 in the Governor's Cup in Lexington. Here on the football field, the 7-4 Cardinals lead the 7-4 Cats 34-10 in the 30th playing of the Governor's Cup. Plant and Creaky to kick it deep. This is Bowden from the 4. Tackled at the 21-yard line. Let's get a student. This is Snell to the 45, tackled by Hearns. And I understand your point. Steven Johnson is a tough guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
no doubt
run throughout his career with toughness. He had a touchdown run against Tennessee, or 34-yard run against Tennessee earlier this year. Hurt his left shoulder, came out of the game for a series as Drew Barker came in and came right back in and had a 17-yard run on the first play. But you have to fight for every yard when you're down 24. Snell in the Wildcat with Johnson behind him, goes straight ahead. First down, past the 30-yard line. 16 more for the sophomore.
All right, excellent job, and not for Stacy Thomas. He may have been off to the races. I mean, they're tracking him down from behind, but nice job there by Benny Snell, who has played a pretty good football game. 19 rushes, 140 yards, and just about 7.5 yards a carry.
Well, consider he has over 700 in his last 5 games. Takes it out of Snell's body and he gives up his own there. Around the 25, hit by Chucky Williams.
I tell you, there's no one to pitch to, so once you pulled it, those are the unnecessary hits that you don't want to place your quarterback in, where it's Benny Snell or Steven Johnson. You got to give him somebody to get that ball off to, or flip it outside in a RPO.
Snell and the Wildcat on 2nd and 7. Trying to find something, and there's not much. Trey Smith clogs the hole.
What he's trying to do is find something that gets him to 3rd and short, 3rd and medium, which is exactly where they are. 4 down territory for Mark Stoops, being down by 24. So you're going to take advantage of every down here. Very well go right back to the Wildcat to try to pick up this first down.
Benny needs to get to the 18-yard line. Johnson behind him. And he gets near the 20.
It's amazing this late in the season. There's no turning Benny Snell around or driving him back. Every time he engages, he's going forward.
Here on about 4th and let's call it 3.
Yeah,
they're 1 for 1 today.
Go back to Peter Sermon real quick. This defense it forced turnovers. They forced a turnover 21 of their last 24 games. Hadn't done it today, but they have been close.
Here come the Cardinals. Johnson has no chance. He is sacked by Stacy Thomas, and the Cardinals get the football back.
I mean, right in the A-gap. The A-gap is between the center and both guards on either side. Stacey Thomas right up the middle. He times the protection perfectly. Steven Johnson can't get rid of the football, and Louisville going to have some pretty good field position to start this drive. So I think against South Carolina, a good football team, I'm going with the Gamecocks.
How about the job Muschamp has done?
Yes, indeed.
Jackson under pressure, escapes, jumps, hurdles, first down. 15 yards and another Louisville first down. So Olivia, you have Alabama, Clemson, and LSU today too.
That's right, Taylor. I kind of stick with the heavy favorite. I'm a sellout like that, I guess, and I just feel like Clemson and Alabama are going to somehow weasel their way back into the top 4. Clemson has had a hard stretch here with a couple bad losses. That one of Syracuse was hard to watch, but I think they got today.
One thing that this season, the 2017 season, has taught us is that upsets certainly happen.
Look at yesterday.
It has been a year of chaos with the Miami Hurricanes going down to the Pitt Panthers yesterday, and the fashion in which they lost that ball game. I mean, it's just been some really back and forth. Iowa State beating Oklahoma earlier in the year. It's been amazing.
Jackson to the sideline to Seth Dawkins, who makes the catch out of bounds for 6 yards.
They even go back to the Ohio State game, and
that's the most shocking game of the season.
Handled the Buckeyes.
55 points for a Hawkeyes team that's not known for putting up a lot of numbers.
So with all that being said, there are more upsets to come, and could happen later today.
On 3rd and 5, Jackson somehow escapes again. Breaks 3 tackles and takes someone down to the 32-yard line.
That's sick.
Are you serious?
That's just sick. That is absolutely sick. Oh my goodness.
Adrian Middleton and Josh Allen. Look at Middleton in the backfield. He had him for a 10-yard loss. And it's a fresh set of downs.
This young man was blessed with a ton, and I mean a ton, of athletic ability. I say.
Back to those rushing yards, over 100 today. That's the 6th straight game this season. You saw he's done it 22 times in his career. Jackson in the shade. Now in the sunshine. Takes the throw, runs out of bounds for a few to Olivia.
Yeah, Louisville center Robbie Bell is out for the day with a left knee injury. So you're seeing the former walk-on Nate Scheller holding down the middle of the line. And for Kentucky, safety Darius West also out for the day with a head injury.
You always talk about, you hear the old adage about he's playing, everybody else is playing checkers and he's playing chess. This guy, you know, everybody else in the analogy for him is everybody else is flying regular airplanes. He's going to the moon. He's in space.
What a hit. As Samuel makes the catch inside the 10-yard line. And with that throw, Lamar goes over 300 total yards of offense again.
And just the ability to do it from the pocket. He just standing in against zone coverage, just lighting up the secondary of Kentucky.
In every single game this season, number 8 for Louisville, Lamar Jackson has over 300 yards of total offense. He's done it in 3 quarters today as the Cards are all over the Cats. So now a 42-yard field goal try for Blanton Creaky, and that one's good. Cardinals lead 37-10 at the start of the 4th quarter.
If you've accomplished everything in college that you set out to do, and he's accomplished an awful lot, I think at the end of that, I never really intended to go pro. Coach Jack Pardee took the job with the Houston Oilers. That influenced my decision. Will Bobby Petrino be back at Louisville? next season and coaching Lamar Jackson if he were to return. And I think that was the major thing, that one of the major deciding factors in it was once he took the job to go to the NFL. I said, you know, you got to give this some thought.
So ESPN.com projecting that the Cardinals could go to the Tax Slayer Bowl in Jacksonville or the Sun Bowl in El Paso. Saheem King tackled at the 50-yard line. Kentucky could be headed to Charlotte for the Belk Bowl or the Music City Bowl in Nashville. And despite this loss today, another 7-5 season for Mark Stoops. Program certainly headed in the right direction. Recruiting has improved significantly. You're seeing around top 25 classes annually. He's recruiting like crazy in his home state of Ohio.
The first order of business is going to be replacing the young man that just threw that last pass. Steven Johnson has meant so much to the building of Kentucky football under Mark Stoops. They finally found some consistency at the quarterback position that allowed him to really go on an upward, kind of start to transcend in terms of wins. 5-7 2 years in a row, and then before getting to 7-5, and looks, unless a miracle happens, they'll finish 7-5 again.
This is 3rd and 9, and that ball is deflected at the line of scrimmage, which is why there's no pass interference called down the field that Charles Walker wanted. So it's 4th down. Johnson comes to the sideline, and to finish your point, Trey, Drew Barker, the junior quarterback, will have a chance to win the job next year in the spring with Gunnar Hoke, who the Cats like a lot.
And I'm sure they're freshmen that are seniors in high school that will factor in someone in a recruiting class coming in the 18 class that may have an opportunity.
This one dies at the 1. Panton in his last game in Lexington with a 49-yarder down at the 1. As Lamar Jackson is still in there with the Cardinals backed up at their own 1-yard line. And he drops it and somehow escapes. And he's tackled at the 15-yard line by Chris Westry. He almost got away from Westry there. He broke a 99-yard touchdown run when it should have been a safety in the end zone.
Yeah, where can he get better? He's going to have to get a lot of reps of that. Just taking the snap from center, because you're in the shotgun so much. After about a week of doing that, it becomes second nature. He'll get used to that. But still, a broken play, and he turns it into a huge gain. Unreal.
Plenty of breathing room. He tries Fitzpatrick to the sideline for about 8 more. So it sets up 2nd and short. The school's only separated by 77 miles. Lonnie Johnson's banged up again. And with this victory today, the Governor's Cup will be tied. Kentucky 15, Louisville 15. Cardinals have gone through a lot this year. Rick Petrino fired as the basketball coach under all sorts of scrutiny. Tom Jurich, the athletic director, also fired. For more on that, let's send it down to Olivia.
Well, Taylor, so the Louisville interim AD, Vince Tyree, played baseball here at UK, which has been fun throughout the week for the local media at both schools. He's been making it clear where his allegiance is, keep in mind. It's all in good fun of this heated rivalry. Now, he was a 4-year member of the Cats baseball team in the 80s. He was actually a senior on the 1988 team that came up 1 win short of making the College World Series. But his father, Charlie, was a star basketball player at Louisville. Very conflicted house.
I think he should grow the mustache back, personally.
No shave November. He should have some hair, some facial hair.
He's got a big job on his hands on that one, Olivia.
Yeah, and I just spoke to Vince Tyree here on the sideline, and he said, yeah, it's a little unorthodox the way I've had to do things, and cheering for Louisville today, going against my alma mater, but he said, I'm a little unorthodox, and he sure has had his hands full.
Bobby Petrino, his head coach in his 4th year, in his second 4-year stint as the head coach of the Cardinals, has never been a head coach longer than 4 years, was in Fayetteville, Arkansas for 4, so with the Falcons, not even an entire season. That's an incomplete pass. It's forward to Fitzpatrick on the ground. And now all of a sudden he has a tremendous amount of power here. As you see, he's got the best win percentage in Louisville history. With Jurich being dismissed, Petrino's buyout was cut in half, literally, when they got rid of Jurich. So if Petrino wanted to leave, the buyout is not nearly as significant as it was. But talking to him this week, you just get the sense that he's very happy doing what he's doing in Louisville, Kentucky.
You just never know the landscape of college football. And would it surprise me if he chose to leave after 4 years? I mean, there is a pattern where he hasn't been one place longer than 4 years. We'll see. And there's obviously a reason that if the former AD left, that the buyout in his clause kicked in. That goes to about half.
Lamar takes off, first down into Kentucky territory, breaks the tackle, gives a stiff arm, 3 flags come in, and he's still on his feet. That's 34 yards, as it's going to be a face mask penalty on Westry.
And you see the strength.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 21, first down.
The off-season workouts, the speed, the strength at the end of this, they don't get him on the ground. I mean, he's stiff-arming, trying to throw Chris Westry, who gets frustrated and grabs the face mask of Lamar Jackson. So there'll be some extra tacked onto this.
18 carries, 156 yards rushing, 202 yards passing. This drive started from his own 1. And somehow in the end zone, Jalen Smith makes the catch.
A jump ball, give the big receiver Smith at 6'4" a chance to make a play, and he makes it on the tail end of this. What a play over Jordan Griffin, the corner, who was in excellent position. The ball finds its way into the hands of Jalen Smith. Well, Lamar Jackson just continuing to do what he does, and that's just be special.
Second 99-yard scoring drive for Louisville this season. Jalen Smith, who missed a few games due to injury, is back. And as you see, he ties, Lamar Jackson ties Deshaun Watson with 116 touchdowns in ACC history. Look what I found behind Griffin's back. All Cardinals today. The Cardinals have scored all 8 times they've had the football today.
And I'm going to say this name just because you refuse to say it. I don't think you like punters, so I'm going to say Mason King's name. You look at that drive chart. We have not seen Mason King today. I don't know what it is you have against punters, but I'm going to call the kid's name just because.
That's because Matt Zarcer was a punter in high school. I'm not even sure Mason King is here at the game today. That's why I haven't said his name. They don't need Mason King.
Pass there by Steven Johnson out to K'Wan Ross. But that's where, you know, you've turned the corner in terms of how you have developed a young man, because now he's coaching the concepts and the plays and getting everybody aligned, that you, the coach, he essentially has become another coach on the field.
Ross has 3 catches for 44 yards. Love to see Juice Johnson get a catch in his final game in Lexington. He's caught one in 22 straight. It's not going to be on this play, as John Grenard makes mincemeat of the left tackle, Kyle Meadows, there on another sack.
Yeah, let's go back. We got a high angle on that touchdown pass from Lamar Jackson. You'll see him here in the pocket. There's the first read. Freeze it. There's the first one. The second one is here. And it's not until here in the third progression and where he finds Smith for the touchdown pass. I mean, that is awesome work. That's next level stuff.
takes it outside. He's got a first down inside the 30 and tackled around the 20-yard line.
What a game Benny Snell has had in his own right. I mean, he owned the first half. And then here, still running with the physicality that he started this game with. There's no quit in Benny Snell. Not shying away from contact. Not trying to find a place to get down. 26 rushes, 192 yards, and over 7 yards a carry. They just had to get out of the game plan because Louisville broke this game open relatively early.
Ties his career high with that last run. And goes over it, somehow staying on his feet there. Tackled by Stacey Thomas, or pushed out rather.
Still having fun. That's what the game's about. See the smile on his face? You know you're down 44-10. That's no fun. But he loves to compete. And he's going to do it until the clock hits 0.
A little communication with the Louisville sideline. Basically saying you can stop everybody else, but you can't stop me.
I'm still coming. That's what he's telling them. I'm still coming.
And he's over 200 now inside the 5-yard line.
I love guys, Taylor, that don't try to find a way out. Not tapping. You see how hard he was breathing as he's in his stance. You know he's tired, but he's not looking to the sideline to come out. Nothing drives me crazier than watching a guy make a play and then he's tapping his helmet so the cameras can follow him to the sideline. No, stay in there and get some more. That's Benny Snell.
Certainly clear in 2018. This will be his football team. He's got his hands on his hips. He's still taking the football, and he's taking it into the end zone.
Love it. Love it. He's earned my respect. He's had it a long time ago. I think I have even more of it for him in a 34-point ball game.
He has more rushing touchdowns in 2017 than any Kentucky Wildcat has ever had before. 19 this season. Now 44-17 with Snell at 211 rushing yards.
You see him here, he's tired, he's breathing heavy, giving it to the Louisville sideline, hands on the hips, but he's not going to slow down, finding the end zone. 211 yards for Benny Snell and a touchdown run here.
Benny Snell has had a career day. It'll come in a losing cause. Kentucky last year.
It's a pretty good company right there. Two outstanding backs at Georgia, and Benny Snell's right in there with them.
On a pooch kick, the fair catch is called for at the 37-yard line. Lamar Jackson's gone the entire way today, but Juwan Pass, the freshman from Columbus, Georgia, in the game now, has really good numbers this season. 23 of 33, 238 yards and a touchdown, 1 rushing as well. He's appeared in 6 games this season. On the first carry, this is Trey Smith gashing it into Kentucky territory down to the 42-yard line.
I talked to Bobby Petrino about Juwan Pass, big guy at 6'4", 220. You see, we talked about it, 69, just under 70% on the season. 2 touchdowns, hasn't thrown an interception, can spin the football. Watched him during warmups, and the thing that really attracts you to him initially is his size. He is a big kid that can rip the football down the field, and Bobby Petrino has a lot of confidence in him.
Tuck it and run Lamar style. And he's got his own set of speed there inside the 20-yard line, pushed out of bounds for a first.
Not bad at all.
23 yards. Pass a little bit bigger, an inch taller than Jackson and 10 pounds heavier.
How about this? Nice job of keeping the pad level low and finding a soft area to the outside. Once again, Kentucky giving up outside leverage makes it pretty easy for Juwan Pass to pick up that first down. I mean, he has got respectable numbers for very limited play this year.
30th first down for Louisville today. This is Tobias Little down to the 15-yard line. Let's take a look at this great team play with today's all-state, all-hands-in play.
Yeah, the 3rd down and 5. Spectacular play that Lamar Jackson put on, and then here, dropping the snap on the 1, turning it into a big-time gain. The long run that he broke open, stiff arm at the end of it. Now this one, dropping it in the bucket earlier in the game. That was his first touchdown pass to Des Fitzpatrick. The second one to Jalen Smith on a nice progression, and we got to his 3rd receiver. 216 yards through the air and 2 touchdowns.
Little breaks a tackle, stays in bounds at the 15-yard line. Andre won the Heisman Trophy in 1989. I'm blessed to also be a voter, and we will not reveal who we will select. I haven't come to any conclusions. I'll be honest with you there. I don't do that until the season is over.
Amen.
But I'll say this, if that man isn't in New York City at the end of the season, it'll be a crying shame. He must be considered again in 2017, given what he's done.
I mean, you look at what the team record is. They're going to win 8 games. I think that's a big part of it in the mind of a lot of voters. But you look at him and the way he plays and how he goes about his business, both on and off the field, which is extremely important to me. Here's my favorites here this week, coming into this week. Saquon Barkley has done a nice job. Bryce Love as well, over 1,700 yards. And then you look at Lamar Jackson, rushing yards, passing yards, almost 3,500 yards. It will be after the bowl game. 42 total touchdowns. He will build on that. It's a very similar season to what he had a year ago when he won the trophy. And I think if there's anyone deserving of a 2nd Heisman Trophy to join Archie Griffin, and the way Lamar Jackson carries himself off the field as a gentleman, meeting him, you would never know that he's won one.
And there's the bat.
And he dodges it. They only got it, only partially got it.
Louisville does not commit a turnover, and that is the 18th straight time they have won without committing one, winning 44-17 today, winning the 30th edition of the Governor's Cup, the Louisville Slugger bat that Howard Schnellenberger will give Lamar Jackson as the MVP of today's game, and the Governor's Cup trophy are going back to Louisville, Kentucky.
What a game. Just had an athlete today, or a quarterback today, that played a spectacular football game in Lamar Jackson.
2 years ago, he came off the bench down 21-0 to propel Louisville to victory, and he does it for 4 quarters today as Louisville scores on all 8 possessions he was in the game. Let's go down to Olivia with Bobby Petrino.
Thanks, Taylor. Coach, you finish your season with 3 convincing wins, flipping the script of last season. Can you describe the fight of your guys to finish the right way?
Yeah, just really proud of them. You know, things didn't go the way we thought they would this year, but they held in there. They had a positive attitude and a great work ethic, and they just kept pounding and working hard. And we got some guys back, which really helped us, and Jair's personality helped us. But I can't tell you how proud I am of our players and assistant coaches.
I want to follow up on Jair and how important he's been in these last now 3 games.
Yeah, you know, he's just a tremendous leader. He gives everybody out there on our defense confidence. Besides that, he's a great player. You know, he can cover, he can play the ball in the air, but his presence and his confidence helps everybody.
Lamar Jackson is truly incredible to watch. You say he's incredible to coach. Do you ever get to watch him like a fan almost?
Sometimes I do, when I go, wow, did you see that? You know, he's just an amazing player and even a better young man. I can't tell you how fun he is and how great a competitor he is, and it's just been a really good time coaching him.
Coach, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The Cardinals own the Commonwealth of Kentucky again, winning the Governor's Cup in 2017, tying the overall series at 15 apiece. Cardinals all over the Cats today, 44-17, thanks in large part to Lamar Jackson. Thanks to the V crew, the best in the business. So blessed to work with him. Let's send it back to the studio.